Guys, welcome back. Jerk Block Talk. I'm Jason Fernandez. This is CrossFit Rife. We have two topics for discussion today. The first one is the most important, and that is how many of these does it take before you're no longer just serious about your supplementation and now you're a fucking weirdo. And Zoe's laughing behind the camera because it's his. But yeah, I'm not picking you on my kickball team if you have one of these, is the basic moral of that story. Topic number two, the actual important topic is Emoms. We're going to talk Emoms today, and more importantly, how as a coach do you manage an Emom on the floor. So it's that very fine balance of managing the clock for the athletes while still being a coach on the floor. And this is where new coaches usually will have a problem because they get distracted by one or the other, and they haven't kind of developed that running clock in their mind about like what's going on in the class while still maintaining the integrity of being able to correct movement while the workout is going on. So here's a basic kind of thing that you want to think about in the Emom setting. If you're not one of those people that's really good about having that running clock on your head and you kind of always know where the time is, do this. So if we look at Cassidy right here, Cassidy for the most part is not going to turn his back to the clock that's over there. So if I'm the coach on the floor, what I'm going to kind of do is I'm going to stay kind of facing this direction so that I can see the athletes, and I kind of always have my eye on the clock at the same time. That way, if you do get distracted looking at an athlete and correcting movement, I still out of the corner of my eye can see I have 15 seconds or so left. But again, it's not either or, and we talk about this a lot. It's and. I want to be able to manage the clock for the athlete, and I want to be a good coach and make the movement better while people are under fatigue. In some settings, like if you're doing a weightlifting Emom, it's a little bit easier for the athletes to manage their own time because it's usually a lift and then they have a long rest. On Emoms like this, where the timeline gets pretty tight pretty quick, so this one is handstand push-ups, toes to bar, and thrusters. So people are going to get butted up against that time domain pretty quickly. They're not going to be able to manage the clock by themselves. So the onus falls on you as the coach to be able to do that. And the easiest way to do that is keep yourself orientated so that you never lose sight of the clock throughout the class. Now, the flip side of that is you're not there just looking at the time the whole time. You have to be able to make that balance of checking the time, correcting movement, checking the time, correcting movement, and working your way back and forth between that. I usually like to do this. I've got a clock in my head. I know about where 30 seconds is, so I try to get the bulk of my cueing in that 30-second period, and then I kind of shift a little bit, and now I'm kind of giving time checks. You don't have to do it this way, but basically, if you're given a 30, a 45, and then something in the 10, 5, or 3, you're going to give the athletes a really, really good idea of whether or not they need to speed up or slow down, or in another scenario, if they need to make an adjustment to the rep schemes that they have for the Emom. Remember, again, you're not the guy managing the clock, but you are doing the athletes a favor if you help them manage the clock, right? If they have no idea where the clock is in that workout, they can't manage it. So you're helping them out and you're being a good coach in that time domain. So again, this would be a bad position because the clock's over there. So I don't want to be coaching the athletes from this direction. What I would want to do is turn and orientate myself this way so that I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 athletes, but I still have my eyes on the clock over there. Okay? So again, Emoms get a little tricky depending on the coach and if you have a lot of experience there, but it's fairly easy done if you always worrying about my orientation in the class to the athlete and to the clock so that I can manage that. Again, guys, if you have questions, please put them in the comments specifically about this. We want comments about this and how many of these makes it weird. Like the YouTube channel or subscribe to the YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.